Hello, fellow mutuals. Welcome back to another video. And admittedly, I've only watched the Chronicles of Narnia movies. I haven't had the chance, or I had the chance, but I never took that chance to read the Chronicles of Narnia books. Now, I love the movies, and I am very tempted to read the books. But apparently, the books were controversial at the time. I saw this article that is titled "The Chronicles of Narnia: The Controversy Behind C.S. Lewis's Book Series Explained." So, let's give this a read, shall we? The Chronicles of Narnia is getting the reboot treatment, with Greta Gerwig set to direct 2 films for Narnia for Netflix, based on CW's children's fantasy book. Lewis' books have been adapted multiple times for the screen, including several TV series and, most recent, 3 films created by Disney from 2005 to 2010. Wait, when was the third one? When did the third one come out? Okay, yeah, it was 10. For some reason, I thought Prince Caspian was released in 2009, and the Voyage of the Dawn Treader was released in 2011. My bad. Confused the timing in my head. Anyways. But the series isn't without its controversies, and Lewis' novels have been criticized in the past for things like its religious subtext and apparent sexism. Okay. Here is everything that you need to know about the books and why they are seen as controversial to some. So, Lewis wrote the books, The Chronicles of Narnia, between 1950 and 1956. And the series consists of 7 books, which were published as follows: The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, The Horse and His Boy, The Magician's Nephew, and The Last Battle. Though it wasn't popular at first, The Magician's Nephew is a prequel to the series as The Horse and His Boy, and their storylines are not connected to the main story regarding of the Pensie's siblings, Peter, Susan, Emmett, and Lucy, who were transported from war-torn Britain to Narnia. Lewis, as I also realized too that I need to plug in my mouse. Lewis was first converted to Christianity by Lord of the Rings author J.R.R. Tolkien. His longtime friend and later rival, more on that later, and it proved integral to his future as a writer. The author wrote Narnia as a Christian allegory. For example, the lion Aslan is seen as a representation of Jesus, while the Pensie's siblings are referred to the sons of Adam's and daughters of Eve's in the book. The Magician's Nephew also reads as a recreation of the biblical story of Adam and Eve. When Lewis was making the Chronicles of Narnia, he was praised for his ability to weave in Christian writing into the children's book, particularly because at the time Lewis was a lecturer of Christian topics at Oxford University and also wrote on the subject in his work, The Screwtape Letters. Lewis and Tolkien were close friends during the early years as authors, but Tolkien is known to have not liked the Chronicles of Narnia because of how over it was, and drawing on Christian imagery. Lewis' use of Christian imagery has since drawn criticism of the series. For example, his Dark Materials author and now atheist Philip Pullman disbarred the novels as propaganda in 2002. In a book, per The Guardian, Pullman said he would read Lewis's work as a teacher and realized that he was up to the propaganda in the case of religion he believed in. On the other end of the spectrum, in 2010, Liam Neeson, who voiced Aslan in the Disney films, drew some criticisms for saying the lion is not meant to only represent Jesus. Per Raptors, he said in a conference, Aslan symbolizes a Christ-like figure, but he also symbolizes for me Muhammad, Buddha, and all the great spiritual leaders and prophets over the centuries. This led to backlash from those in the Christian community who feel Lewis's religious views are integral to understanding the means behind the book. Okay. I mean, I'm not really a big religious person per se. I'm more like, if anything, more spiritual than I am religious. So I don't really have I don't really have an opinion when it comes to that bit, to be honest. If there's any of you guys who are wondering in the chat. Anyways, J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis. Tolkien and Lewis, as mentioned, grew up very close when they first met, bonding over their experience in the First World War, their respective childhoods, and their love for writing. During the early years of their friendship, the pair enjoyed each other's company so much that they even created a group of like-minded authors known as the Inklings. While Lewis read a draft of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe to the Inklings, it was said that Tolkien was horrified by what he read, because he hated the way Lewis had taken different aspects of various mythologies and biblical tales and repurposed it for his story. Alan Jacobs, a literature professor who wrote a book about Lewis, explained that the inclusion of Father Christmas as Narnia set Tolkien's teeth on edge, for example. For years, they encouraged each other's work, but tensions began to rise between the pair over things like the speed with which Lewis wrote and rise in popularity, which, of course, that means my screen went black, so sorry. But tensions began to rise between the pair over the things that, I'm saying sorry because I didn't know if the audio is too, so I'm rereading this sentence again. But tensions began to rise between the pair over things like a speed of which Lewis and his rise to popularity, which led to the authors becoming rivals. The resentment and rivalry eventually led to an estrangement between the pair until a few weeks prior to Lewis's death in 1963. So, okay, I didn't know those two had a feud. Exactly. So, apparently, back when the Chronicles of Narnia came out, they were accused of having racist and sexist views, or the series was accused of being racist and sexist, I guess. Let's see. Lewis' work has also been criticized for being sexist and racist in the past, with Monica Hilder writing in her work The Feminine Ethos in C.W. Lewis' Chronicles of Narnia that the author could be seen as a misogynist. I'm kind of rolling my eyes now, because nowadays, when you dislike something, you're labeled like a misogynist. If you say, hypothetically, if I want to see The Little Mermaid and I dislike the new Little Mermaid movie, I would be labeled as a misogynist. Now, when I was saying, one day I would like to be, whenever, God decides my time has come to be a father, I would love to have a son and a daughter. I've been labeled a misogynist because of that. The word misogynist, like a few other words, nowadays has lost their meanings. So like I said, whenever I see the word misogynist, I gotta like roll my eyes because like, do they even know what the word means? But yet again, this was like used in the 50s, so like misogynist could have still had its meaning. So anyways, let's see what they mean. The Chronicles of Narnia sees its character follow very strict gender roles. Susan is shown to be motherly, while Peter is depicted as a natural-born leader, and later gifted a sword by Father Christmas. Susan's depiction in later books has also been deemed sexist. J.K. Rowling called out the fact that Susan is unable to return to Narnia in the last battle, with the Harry Potter author commenting in an interview with Time, quote unquote, "There comes to a point where Susan, who was the older girl, is lost to Narnia because she becomes interested in lipstick. She becomes a religious basically because she found sex. I have big problems with that." So keep in mind that I haven't like read all the other books, but like Susan wasn't able to return to Narnia because he was interested in lipstick being a girl? Regardless if that's sexist or not, or if you want to call that misogynistic or not, admittedly, I would say, because I'm not going to label whether it's misogynistic or sexist, because those terms, like I said, lost their meanings, in my opinion, nowadays. But it is dumb. If that's the reason, because if lipstick is literally the reason why Susan can't return to Narnia in the last battle, then that's dumb. In my opinion. Anyways, even evil is also personified in the books as distinctively feminine, though not exclusively. This is mostly memorably shown through the White Witch played by Tilda Swinton in the Disney films, who possessed a threat to Aslan and the Pessy's children. And I probably butchered the last name, so sorry. In The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, depictions of the Colored Mane Empire in The Horse and His Boy has been called racist. Pullman has previously criticized the books for both this and the apparent sexism, saying, quote unquote, "It's monumentally disparaging of girls and women. It's blatantly racist. One girl was sent to hell because she was getting interested in clothes and boys. I find them very dodgy and unpleasant. Dodgy in the dishonest rhetoric way, and unpleasant because they seem to embody a worldview that takes for granted things like racism, misogyny, and the profound cultural conservatism that is utterly examined." I won't be able to really comment on that part because I haven't really read any of the books, so I wouldn't really know what they were talking about. But in terms of the villains being feminist, because it was females based off the movies, I don't get that. Because the first movie had the Wicked Witch, right? No, not Wicked Witch, sorry. White Witch. And the White Witch in the other two movies had a very minor role. Now, I don't exactly remember who was the third Narnia story's villain, but I do remember the second Narnia's adventure's villain was a male. So I honestly don't see how the feeling like anything sexist by that, based off what I've seen in the movies. Now, granted, I'm referring to the movies where like I have faith where like, of course, not like the movies can't fit everything from the books into the movies, but got the gist of the stories right. But like, if their reasoning for it being called sexist because like towards the end, it was like leaned more towards one gender being the bad guy than the other being sexist, then you could kind of say like by that weird logic, Star Wars is sexist. Because most of the men, like most of the bad guys, the big bad guys, have been men. Darth Vader, Darth Sidious, Darth Tyrannus, Kylo Ren, Snoke. Granted, there's been a few female villains like Ventress, who later got redeemed. Mara Jade, who was later redeemed as well. But like, I'm not saying that Star Wars is sexist, but like, at least the George Lucas era. But still, like, I don't. And maybe I should like read the books to see what they mean more, and I'm tempted to do that. Guess I try to put myself in the other person's shoes to try to see where they're coming from, but like, based on what my experience with the Narnia series, which has consisted of the 3 movies that Disney's made, I don't see how any parts of that is sexist. I didn't get the feel that it was racist either. At any form of racism either. So I don't know. Like, sure, it might have had like religious things, like themes here and there. Sure, I'll give them that. Good or bad, I give you that, but like, I don't know. Racism and sexism, I don't know. I might, like I said, I might have to read the books to like really to understand. Because as far as I know, they could be right. There could easily have been racism, sexism in there. But at the same time, with the whole sexism bit, how like Susan took on the mothery role, like, so I don't get how that's sexist. Of course I got my parents. Of course my mom took the mothery role. My dad took the more fatherly role, sure. But I'm the youngest out of 3. My sister, because I got a sister and brother. And outside of my actual parents and like a really good friend of mine's parents, who I like count as like a second set of parents, whenever like my parents were out at work, my sister, who's 8 years older than me, always took the more maternal route for me. And even though my brother was like 3 years older than me, even though our age gaps are a little bit, like, sure, he took the brotherly role, but there's been a few times where my brother took the like fatherly role for me. Like, especially in like areas where I needed a father figure, where my father couldn't like exactly deliver on, my brother took that role essentially. And same with my sister with a mothery role. And no say just my parents, but still, like my point is, like, just because like siblings takes on like the paternal and maternal roles for the younger siblings, that doesn't exactly make it sexist. At least not in my opinion. And you can come after me all you want, but I honestly, I don't see things like that. But like I said, it was in the 50s, so it was a different time. So it could have potentially been, I don't know. But until I read the books, I'm sticking with my opinions firmly. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I will talk to you, fellow mutants, later.